Magandang araw sa inyong lahat at welcome to Season 2 of Gender Talks dito sa TVUP. It's great to be back and it's hard to believe it's been 7 years since we first launched Season 1 back in 2017. Ang huli yatang pagkikita natin 2018 pa, no? Ang dami nang nangyari at nagbago since then, kaya naman it's about time we dive back into the ever-evolving world of gender and explore it even further. Kailangan pag-usapan natin uli, no? Pero bago ang lahat, magpapakilala muna kami. Ako si Betsy Enriquez, nagbabalik sa Gender Talks. Ako ay isang Professor Emeritus ng Broadcasting mula sa College of Mass Communication. At may kasama ako sa araw na ito. Nandito po ang mga kasamahan natin sa mga kaguruan dito sa University of the Philippines. Pakilala muna kayo, Odin and Roland. Si Odin muna.
Maraming salamat, Betsy. Magandang umaga sa iyo at magandang umaga rin sa ating mga manonood. Ako si Odin de Guzman. I am a professor at the English Department of UP Diliman.
At ako naman si Roland Tolentino, nagtuturo ako sa UP Film Institute.
Okay, kumustahan muna tayo kasi ang haba na ng panahong nagdaan simula nung last tayong nag-record for Season 1, 2018 yon. Kumusta naman kayong dalawa?
Marami nang nangyari sa buhay natin dahil lahat tayo naapektuhan ng 4 na taon ng pandemic, lalo na sa initial state nito na lockdown.
Oo.
At ang brutality ng longest at strictest lockdown in the world na dinanas natin at yung transition sa new normal at yung transition from one populist leader to another. So medyo down energy for most part. Pero ang maganda naman pala, surviving naman. At may will to succeed pa rin sa klase ng mga advocacies natin kasama ang usaping gender.
Okay. Ikaw naman, Odin.
Yes. Well, actually, iko-connect ko na lang sa nasabi ni Roland. No? Dahil sa experience natin ng pandemic, which is like really new for all of us.
Yeah.
No? It also allowed us to experience a different way of living.
That's true.
And one of it is, in a way, kind of living online.
Oo nga.
So that's actually new, no? So and it allowed us to develop the technology as well as to develop ourselves in using the technology. Because before the pandemic, like katulad ko, I didn't know how to teach online or to use, like this, like online gadgets for teaching. And yet now, because of that experience in the pandemic, we mostly do our teaching online.
And until new ways.
That's right. No? And until now, we're adapting to this kind of hybrid lifestyle and hybrid workplace and work situation. So I guess in a way, while we had experienced some kind of restrictions during the pandemic, it actually also allowed us to move, to continue moving, to continue living.
So there are two sides to this, no?
That's
Pero
right.
yung sinabi ni Roland, loaded yan, ha? So siguro sa mga susunod nating mga episodes, pwede nating balikan yung ganyang pag-uusap, no? So gaya ng nasabi ko kanina, a lot has happened since our last episode of Gender Talks, no? In Season 1. Dun sa Season 1, kung natatandaan nyo, pinag-usapan natin yung ano ba yung sexual orientation, 'di ba? Ano ba yung gender identity? Ano ba yung gender expression, 'di ba? Tapos pinag-usapan natin yung maraming pang mga issues gaya ng masculinities. Remember, no, Roland, nandun ka. Tapos pinag-usapan din natin yung intersectionality, sexual harassment, no? Tsaka nung time na yon, medyo talagang umiigting na yung mga usapan sa social media, pati yung sexual harassment na dumaan sa social media pinag-usapan natin. Pero ang dami pa ring nangyari, no? Maraming bagay na, marami tayong problemang nanatili, pero marami ring nangyari, no? Kaya gusto ko sanang pag-usapan natin ngayon, ano yung mga recent notable events na sa tingin ninyo ay nagkaroon ng impact sa gender-related issues natin ngayon, 6 years later. Ano sa tingin nyo? Maliban sa COVID, yung COVID, syempre, ang daming epekto niya, no? Pero sige, Roland.
Ang isa ko napansin ay mas lalo nag-intensify yung gender consciousness lalo na sa hanay ng mga estudyante natin, na may pronoun of choice na silang ina-advocate for themselves. No? At makikita natin dito sa Zoom, kasi meron ng he or she or they, at kung ano-ano pa mga pronouns na nandun. So, ibig sabihin, on their own, kahit hindi naman in-orchestrate ng guro at ng university, ay nagkaroon sila ng awareness during this time na online ang methodology of teaching and for existence in general, ay nagkaroon sila ng malalim na consciousness at siguro nag-introspection din on how they can perform itong kanilang gender orientation and sexual identities in a period ng kailangan balikan natin yung pandemic dahil yung pinagdaanan natin na wala naman talaga, for most part, yung mga estudyante natin, lalo na yung minors, were not allowed to leave their homes na klase.
Pero Roland, I want to take a little credit for that. Kasi, kung natatandaan mo, yung kolehiyo natin ang nag-propose ng COM 141, which is Media and SOGI. No? So, ito pinasa natin to sa University Council, di ba? Pinag-usapan to sa University Council at tinanggap siya bilang bagong kurso. Kaya lang, i-connect natin sa media. Pero napaka-relevant naman kasi ang lahat ng mga diskurso ngayon dumadaan sa social, well, hindi naman lahat, no? Pero ang daming dumadaan sa social media. At nung pinropose natin to, ang tanda ko ay hindi ito kinontra ng UC, ng University Council. At the very following semester ay inintroduce na natin yung kurso. So palagay ko naman may konti tayong kinalaman, no? Doon sa pagtaas ng level ng consciousness ng mga kabataan ngayon, lalo na ng mga estudyante natin, sa gender issues, no? Yung mga pronouns na yan, ano? At yung, alam nyo ba na yung ating gender talks na season 1 ay ginagamit ding requirement na panoorin ng ilang estudyante sa ibang eskwela. So, palagay ko naman, at the risk of sounding yabang, no? Pero meron naman siguro tayong naging contribution dyan. What do you think, Odin?
I agree. Well, of course, masasabi ko rin yun para sa aming department.
Yes.
You know, like, in fact, you know, like since the late 1990s, we had offered courses on women and gender, you know, like feminist literary criticism. Pero siguro pwede nating lawakan yung pagbibigay ng credit.
Okay. Kunti lang naman ang kiling ko. Sige.
Sinakyan ko naman, di ba?
Okay.
Pero siguro, ilawakan natin ng kaunti yung pagbibigay ng credit sa academe, sa ating, you know, like basically sa ating combined advocacy as well as teaching on, you know, like on gender. Siyempre, hindi natin maikaiila na naging subject na nga sa eskwelahan, no? Sa school, ang gender. So I think this basically really contributed to the enhancement of gender consciousness among students. Especially for students who came in the year 2000.
Right.
You know, like ang dami na talagang pagbabagong nangyari, no? And then, in fact, let me just connect this a little bit on, you know, like the topic that we started on the effects of the COVID, no?
Yes.
And the pandemic and our online lives.
Right.
I think, you know, like while mayroon talaga tayong increased gender consciousness and gender knowledge now, we also need to be aware that with this, you know, like awareness and claims to certain gender identities and gender expressions, lumalabas din yung ano, what do you call this, the simultaneous problems with it, no? So kasi umuusod yung ating pag-iisip about gender, but at the same time, our previous and in quotation marks traditional mindset about gender remained, no?
Oo nga.
So naglalaban, nagtutunggalian, tama ba yung salita na yun? Yung ating parang traditional, you know, like ideas, assumptions about gender, as well as this new, you know, new awareness.
Right.
And with this new awareness and connected to technology, we have this very fast-paced, diba, transmission of information.
Actually, maganda yung sinabi mo, Odin, kasi naalala ko na minsan we tend to be celebratory, di ba? Na, oh, ganda na ng sitwasyon natin ngayon. Sa university kasi, mas madaling mag-isip na we have a safe space, no? Pero sa totoo lang, pag we're in a sort of a bubble eh. Pag lumabas ka, makikita mo nandyan pa rin yung matibay na pagkakatanim at malalim na pagkakatanim ng patriarchy. Di ba? So yung mga issue natin noon, yung VAUSI, yung violence against women and children, discrimination, etc., no? Andyan pa rin, no? Kahit na masabi nating meron ng progress, nandyan pa rin yan, di ba? Siguro ang maganda lang pag-usapan ngayon is meron tayong nakikitang mga bagong issue na lumabas, no? Gusto ko ngang banggitin yung yung Summer Olympics. Ewan ko kung napansin nyo na ang tindi ng usapan ng debatehan sa online media, no? Tungkol kay Carlos Yulo at some point, no? Dahil lang sa kanyang pananamit. Okay? So, meron tayong ilang mga in-interview na mga kabataan at mga ilan pang mga na-enkwentro natin, tignan natin, pakinggan natin kung ano yung kanilang naging pananaw tungkol sa bagay na ito.
When I first saw it, parang it wasn't anything unusual. Well, for other people though, I think other people reacted in a way na parang it's something new, let's say, it's something more modern now because in the past crop tops were not accepted as much with boys wearing it, and even with girls actually they're sort of considered as something na parang like sexually appealing when girls wear it, which isn't really right. So for me, when I first saw it, parang for me it's normal because I think I was taught in a way na parang anyone can wear anything they want to express themselves.
Para sa akin, okay lang naman siya kasi dati pa naman siya ginagawa, like 90s pa, marami na nagsusot nun. And for me, nagka-crop top din kasi ako. And nagsusot din ako ng ganun. Kaya okay lang po sa akin.
It's very normal. I mean, it's just clothes and he's just expressing himself through what he wears and there's really nothing wrong with it. And yung reaction online is just too much and so very OA lang and ang dami pang bagay na pwedeng pansinin pero yun pa yung naha-highlight ulit instead yung I guess yung pagiging athlete niya.
Okay, isang issue lang yan, At ang comment ay generally positive, no? Pero sa totoo lang, merong mga nag-comment na negative, no? Nega. Kasi ang sabi nila mukhang gay si Carlos Yulo sa pagsusuot nun. Anong masasabi niyo tungkol dito?
I think hindi maganda yung ganung klaseng conclusion, no? Simply because we cannot really out a person unless the person outs himself or herself, no? So which means that parang pinipilit natin na mag-conform si Carlos Yulo sa patriarchal gaze na pag nag-transgress siya sa macho look, then papasok siya sa along the lines of queerness or gayness na klase na hindi maganda kasi a lot of things are also involved in here. May body shaming, may homophobia, yung pag-out sa kanya, enforce yun. So, hindi maganda yung tingnan. On the other hand, we also need to take a look, bakit ba siya nag-post ng ganun? And this is all orchestrated for a public kind of relations. Ibig sabihin, PR para sa advertisement or even a magazine cover. At syempre, mga branded dito. So, naghihimok din ng a new kind of visuality na kung saan ay highly commercialized and highly desirable for a lot of young men, probably in that kind of position, who would buy Adidas crop shirt or yung mga tight-fitting jeans na katulad ng pinakita niya o pinakita para sa kanya sa ad na yun.
Ayan, na-mention mo na may sponsor pala kasi yung damit niya, no? Di ba? Anong tingin mo, Odin?
Well, since pinick up na siya ng industry, ng sports industry at ng clothing sports industry, sa tingin ko, pwede nating itong tignan na mayroon na talagang wider acceptance for for allowing differences in gender expression. No? Kasi hindi lang naman to isang damit na sinuot ni Carlos Yulo. Ibig sabihin nga nito, sabi nga ni Roland, like advertisement eh.
Oo.
So binebenta nila yung ganitong klaseng pananamit.
Oo.
At kung si Carlos ang kinuha nilang model, it means talagang naka-gear itong ganitong klaseng itsura ng pananamit para sa lalaki. So to a degree, actually kailangan natin talaga rin yung yung pagtutulungan in terms of widening our gender consciousness and gender aware and acceptance, no? So kung sabi ko nga, kung kinuha na to ng sports industry, so then they are promoting this kind of clothing for men, then in a way they are actually promoting something, a concept that might predate, maybe not the predate, maybe the term predate is wrong, no? But a concept that came a little before, like queer theory, and this is, like the notion of androgyny.
Okay.
No? So in a way kasi dun sa mga comments ng ating mga like commenters, no? ng mga posters, like parang meron talaga silang parang traditional gender look, no? In fact, it's a bit disconcerting because until now they think that way, that just because the clothing seemed a little bit feminine, it looked a little bit feminine, then they right away accuse or out whatever that is. I don't know, like what they really meant, but they were claiming that Carlos looked gay. No? So nandito pa rin actually makikita natin yung mga older notions of like gender expression, gender look, na baka nakatuon pa rin dun sa ating binary thinking, na merong masculine look at merong feminine look. But actually, nakaabante na tayo from that. I hope, no?
I hope so too.
I mean,
Pero not based on the comments sa
academically
post
speaking.
na yun.
Oo,
nga.
actually,
Talagang-
kung yun ang pakikinggan natin, di ba?
Academically speaking,
Oo.
di ba, napag-usapan na nga natin talaga yung mga androgyny,
Oo.
like, so it means that,
Pero kasi complicated naman talaga eh.
Yes.
While we think that we have made progress in that sense, meron pa ring mga, yung sabi mo nga, o din yung mindset na nakaangkla pa rin sa patriarchy, no? Bilang tagahugis ng ating consciousness na hindi na aalis. Andun pa rin.
Pero hindi naman talaga innocent din si Carlos Yulo dito because he allowed his own aura as an Olympic champion or gold medalist na magamit din ng corporation or ng capitalist.
Ayun.
At tandaan natin, binigyan siya ng condo, nag-endorse siya ng mga condo units, ng all the politicians, national politicians had photos with him, or he did the rounds of courtesy calls, etc. So he was already complicit in this whole enterprise of staging androgyny or queerness as something controversy. We should also remember ang athlete's life, lalo ang gymnast, hindi naman mahaba. He can go for probably the next Olympics or his third Olympics, probably. So, he needs to max out. Parang much in the same way na yung mga celebrities natin sa Star Cinema Studios na ginugroom sila, they're always optimized. And it's never really kind of exploitative, but it's a kind of relationship where Carlos Yulo and his likes have that kind also of agency.
Oo. So marami
Yes,
talagang
but-
dapat i-unpack.
But let me just also
sige,
add,
go.
like to this argument. Although I do not like really know Carlos Yulo and I don't like really know anything about him, but like while Roland pointed out a kind of a complicity between Carlos Yulo and like corporate industry, the thing is we can actually also say that Carlos Yulo is quite confident in like coming out with or looking or taking on a kind of an androgynous look, no? So in terms of our gender discourse, you can see this young person, like having this confidence to wear, like in quotation marks, non-traditional men's clothing, diba? So actually in terms of the gender discourse, I think it's good. I mean, it's good. He probably also contributes to, like, again, in quotation marks, no? Para kung nasa 90s pa rin, ginagamit ko pa rin ang air quotes.
Oo na lang, gumagawa.
ako na lang ang old-fashioned. But anyway.
Hindi, ako din ginagawa ko rin yan.
Yes. But, like, he contributes to, you might say, an advancement or the progression of, like the acceptance of moving away from the binary thinking about gender. No? Kahit nga hindi pa tapos. No?
Talagang maraming isyong kadugtong yan na dapat nating i-unpack. No? At hindi natin masyadong malaliman yung ating diskusyon dyan dahil kaunti lang ang ating panahon. At pinapangako naman natin sa ating mga manonood na itong mga ito ay babalikan nating mga isyong ito sa mga susunod na episodes po ng Gender Talks. No? At gaya na nasabi ko, isang issue lang yan. Dami pang issue dapat na daanan ng ating season 2. No? So halimbawa, yung napag-usapan natin to yung gender in the workplace, gender at school, no? Siyempre, umpisa niyan sa family, no? Or gender in religious milieu, no? So, magkakadugtong lahat siyang mga yan. So, it's also interesting to talk about all of these things, no? At I'm sure magkikita-kita pa tayo muli, no? Dito sa ilang pang episodes natin. At pero baka meron kayong gustong sabihin pa tungkol dito sa mga episodes na dapat nating balikan, yung mga topics na dapat nating balikan for our future episodes. Bawa, kasi medyo nahimay na natin yung sports, okay? Actually, hindi pa naman himay. Parang patikim lang, no?
Patikim.
Pero,
talagang tunay na patikim lang. Malalim
no?
pa ang usapan. But, like since you mentioned other topics, maybe, of course, we still need to continue, like talking about and raising awareness about gender issues in the schools, because that is where we are. But also in the family, because as you said, no, that's the smallest social unit, like in our society.
And the first one that socializes us. Diba?
That's right. But also, I think we want to look into these things because dito natin makikita na kailangan pa rin natin talaga ng mas maramihang advocacy at siguro awareness, no? Kasi kung titignan natin yung mga statistics, like related to these units of society, like the family or the school, dito natin siguro makikita yung continuing discrimination, no? Kasi, I mean, the numbers might say that, for instance, like there is a continuing discrimination. No?
Right.
For instance, in the school system, we might have an increase in the, like participation of women, for instance, in terms of enrollment, or the expansion of women, like student population even in the traditional, in quotation marks, my favorite, in the traditional academic fields, like for instance, engineering, like law and so on and so forth. And yet, if we connect these statistics to, like the outcome in the workforce, baka, well, hindi ako magaling sa numbers at sa statistics talaga, no? Pero baka makikita natin na pagdating doon sa na yon, doon sa unit na yon, hindi ganoon kalaki yung participation. No? Even if they had the training.
Right. In fact, sabi nung mga researchers nga natin, men have a larger labor force participation at over 76%, samantalang mga babae, 56% lang.
Oo nga, pero diba? Ano ang statistics naman sa school participation ng mga kababaihan?
Baliktad. Actually, mas madami ng babae ngayon sa mga university level schools, di ba?
Except sa kwan pa rin sa STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics na highly dominated by rin ng mga kalalakihan ng mga estudyante at nag-graduate sa STEM courses.
How do we explain that?
Well, hindi naman nawala yung gender divide sa mga academic programs o undergraduate programs na kinukuha natin sa ng mga estudyante natin, babae at lalaki, no? Pero mas marami naman talaga ang babaeng nag-aaral, pinag-aaral dahil nga naasahan na sila, mas reliable sila na maging breadwinners or tumulong sa pag-aaral ng kanilang younger siblings na klase, no? So sila yung pinapasok dito. Pero at the same time, ay highly divided pa rin yung mga education, journalism, mass comm, humanities.
Pag sa professions na yan,
Pero sa professionals ay sa STEM lalo, ay highly 70% ang kung di ako nagkakamali, last statistics ng mga graduates na ay puro lalaki ang nag-graduate dito. So, kailangan pa rin natin i-push yung ganung klaseng assertion. At yun nga, ano yun din yung perils na hindi sila nagpa-pursue sa labor force or mismo ba yung employment opportunities for women ay mas restricted or hindi talaga sila hinahire in the first place dahil mga anak naman sila, yung usual patriarchal one, or mas ang concern nila yung anak nila may sakit at mag-a-absent sila, or yung asawa na may sakit. At kaya hindi papasok, kaya hindi sila nagtutuloy.
Marami pa rin karugtong na issue yan eh. Bakit kasi ang nag-aalaga lang ng anak yung babae? Wala na tayong magagawa sa babae lang ang nanganganak, no? Maliban in the future kung magbago yan. Pero bakit yung child rearing ay trabaho lang ng babae? Diba? Yan, isang issue yan na pwede nating pag-usapan in the future. Yung double burden ng mga kababaihan na hindi nawawala hanggang ngayon nandun pa din, ano? So,
maganda rin siguro, Betsy, in the future, pag-usapan natin, ano din yung participation ng babae as candidates for elected positions or even possibility na makapag-transform ang mga kababaihan voters para makapag-elect na mas pro-women na klase ng mga candidates or party list. No?
parang
Siguro,
sige, go ahead.
Excuse me lang po.
Sige, sige.
Maidagdag ko lang. Siguro since pinag-uusapan natin kung ano ba yung mga pwede nating mga future topics na pag-usapan. Although you did mention na napag-usapan na natin before, yung concept ng intersectionality.
Oo.
Pero dito sa, like dito lang sa maliit na bagay na pinag-usapan natin ngayon, makikita natin talaga yung pagduktong-duktong, no? Nung pagiging babae at yung mga different, like issues in society. For instance, just going back to, like the education and the work, like force, yung outcomes sa workforce. Dito natin makikita yung irony nun no?
Right.
So, while women had been brought up, like really to be more disciplined, to be more responsible, if I may say, and maybe that's the reason why, they probably finish schooling, like there are more women who finish schooling, or nasabi na rin ni Roland kanina, na parang sila yung pinapasok sa pag-aaral. Pero, nandun din yung irony na pagkatapos nilang mag-aral, pagkatapos nilang magkaroon ng training, sila rin yung maagang pinupull out. No? So para bago pa makapagtrabaho, bago pa magkaroon ng like kinalabasan yung kanilang pinag-aaral, napupull out kasi nandito pa rin nga yung traditional gender roles. No? Yung sa family, yung child rearing, sila pa rin yung expected.
Actually, napaka-complex talaga nito, no? Very complex. At we have to unpack this in our future episodes kasi hindi naman siya iisang variable lang. Maraming mga variables ng kasangkot dito. At some of them are good, some are bad. And we need to really unpack it kung paano ba talaga, ano yung mga nangyayari kaya ganito ang sitwasyon ngayon. Ano? Ang dami na namin napag-usapan dito sa episode na to at marami pa talagang ground to cover in this field. And dahil nga sa nagdaang panahon, madaming nangyari, no? We have so much to catch up on. At yung gender issues kasi napaka-pervasive and this is something that we will have to definitely deal with and explore and go deeper into in our succeeding episodes. At dito muna natin tatapusin ang ating mga pag-uusap. At ako po si Betsy Enriquez.
Odine de Guzman.
Roland Tolentino.
At magkita-kita po tayong muli sa ating susunod na episode.